What up, y'all? It's your man Abuamerican. I'm back with the Even Phillip show. I'm late today. I ain't gonna lie. I'm late today. It's my fault. I have a life. yes. Abuamerican lives. Can you guys hear me? I don't even know. I've had so many technical problems recently. Actually, that I'm not even sure if people can hear me. Let me check all of this. Audio, it is showing green. What the heck is going on back there? So anywho, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Microwave. Yeah, my sound's coming through. I can hear me over there. So even Phillip is back, ready to answer your questions. I had a bunch of weirdos on, man. I got videos basically like that are on, what do you call it? Your scheduled videos. I started scheduling my videos because what happens is a lot of times I'll make a video or I'll have an idea for a video and then I'll write it down and then I'll never make the video. And so when I come up with video ideas, and sometimes it happens like this, that I'll have like 7 or 8 video ideas in one day. No joke. And since it doesn't make sense to drop 7 or 8 videos in a single day, what I'll do is I'll make the videos in a single day and then I will schedule them to come out like throughout the week. So I've got like all the way up until next week on Saturday, a video coming out. Basically not every day, but every other day. So on the days I don't have a live show, there will be a video, dropping about the same time every day, 10 a.m. my time. So anyway, one of these videos dropped, one of my scheduled videos, man, and I started getting comments. And I tell you, people are weird, man. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Yolink. Wait, Yolink.
Don't give goofy questions.
Exactly. Yolink is one of them goofy question people. MashaAllah. So anyway, Yolink, man, watch out what happened to, we was Kangs. Don't end up like we was Kangs, okay? If you don't know, we was Kangs got banned from the channel altogether. So anyway, people, they got crazy ideas, and I don't know when Muslims like started taking on these like feminist ideas of relationships, and whatnot. And especially it's weird because it's Muslim men doing this more than Muslim women. I mean, you expect like some of these goofy sisters that are, they grew up in the West and they got, basically indoctrinated and poisoned with, a lot of feminist and Western ideologies that are like foreign to Muslims. But like when brothers start doing this stuff, it's like, you just want to tell the brother, like, you just want to tell the brother, like, man, bro, save some sisters for us, man. She ain't gonna marry you, bro. I mean, I really hope they see it. I really hope the sisters see that stuff. But guys, come on, man. They really ain't feeling all that goofy talk that you guys doing. So anyway, this guy, he like made some comments here. Let me look these comments up on the internet side of the game, since hey, I got so many dang YouTube windows open and I'm like using all of them. It's like really like, what the heck, man. So this brother was making some cute goofy comments, and I just wanted to like kind of address some of this stuff that you guys need to really think about when you make statements, because I think a lot of times these statements aren't very well thought out. It's my humble opinion. So anyway, this brother says, Abuamerican, he's talking about one of my videos that came out, one of my scheduled videos, and he said, I'm not hating on you, but I think you're not 100% correct. He said, and I asked him, like, okay, well, drop it. Let me know what. And he said, you always like treat women as inferior. Can she do as many pull-ups as me? I'll just play it. Anyway, you treat women like they're inferior. I agree, male and females are not equal, but still no one wants to be controlled and treated as inferior. Humans desire respect. See, and so this is what I mean by people don't think about what they say. So here, he one second, I'm trying to pull out the conversation. Scroll. Golly, man, you guys, mashallah with the comments. So he agrees that they're not equal. So if you believe, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Red pill, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Nice. So if you agree that men and women aren't equal, that means one has to be superior to the other, right? Two things cannot be unequal, but at the same time have equality between them, can they? These phones are not the same. Therefore, they cannot be equal. One will have a better camera than the other. One will have a better PC than the other. One will have this, that, the other. They will function in the same fashion because they're both phones, but they are not equal. Does that mean one is worthy of less respect than the other? You guys know I'm talking about women and men here, but work with me with the analogy here. So I asked the brother, and I didn't get a response. I said, you have to decide what it's going to be, man. Either we're not equal or we are equal. If they are equal, if men and women are equal, then you're going to have to accept my way. Which my way is, when women come around, I don't give them special privileges and special treatment. That's when we accept that women are not equal. And everybody has said Abuamerican women are equal, and we're just as good as you, and we're just as smart, and blah blah blah. And brothers coming around with the simpy game. Oh, you shouldn't treat the sister so bad, and this, that, there. You shouldn't talk bad to them. Okay, fine. So I won't do it. I'll treat them just like I treat a regular old guy. Treat them like an equal. And then somehow that's not good enough. I treat them like an equal, and it's like, oh, you're disrespectful to the women. Well, women only get special treatment when chivalry is in order. And chivalry is in order when we understand and accept that women aren't equals to men, that they're weaker. And so they require special treatment in regards to their emotions, physicality, and all this stuff. And so we treat them differently. So it's one or the other. Either we're equal or we're not equal. And what happens is when you look at the guy's comment, he wants it all. He wants to say women are equal while accepting that they are equal. So what he wants is he wants me to give them special treatment, but at the same time, don't treat them like they're not equals, but accept that they are not equals. What? You see this? I mean, it's like, my niggas, did y'all think this stuff through? It don't even make any sense to me. It's like, what are you saying? I accept they're not equals, but you should speak to them nicely, and you should speak to them like, like this and like that. And I'm like, okay, well, we're not equals. So, and you're saying you don't like the way I treat them. You think I treat them inferiorly, like inferiors. Well, what you're asking me to do is treat them like an inferior. Oh, you poor thing. You and your emotions. You little girls. You can't take the truth. Sit down, let me give you a back rub while I tell you why you're being such a little jerk, baby girl. What do you want me to do? What up, YT Crash? Yo, Link, any tips for bringing up righteous children? Lead by example, be what you want them to be because they follow you. So, be righteous to raise righteous children. That's the tip. That's the trick. All right?
It's coming again.
H1. Any advice for brothers who want to consummate on the first night with their virgin wife but are unsure regarding how to make this happen because of lack of experience? No tips. Just go for it, bro. I mean, at some point in history, probably Adam and Eve, people just started, making things happen, and it happens. You sort of lock them in a room, and then next thing you know, there's a whole tribe. You're not going to be much different. She has an idea where it goes. You have an idea where you want it to go. Y'all will figure it out. Just go for it, man. She gonna help you. You gonna help her. Y'all gonna get all hot and sweaty and happy at the end of it. Just don't put yourself under a bunch of pressure. All you're doing is like putting yourself under a bunch of stress and pressure, and she's gonna notice it when you're not relaxed about it, and it's gonna become a congruence test for her, and it's gonna kill your attraction. Just go for it, man. Don't overthink it, bro. This is like, quote unquote, in the proper understanding of the Aqidah, this is natural. Just go for it, bro. What traits do men possess that make it right for them to lead? My niggas, where have you been? You say that men are more intelligent than women, or is it just strength that makes them suited to lead? It's everything. Listen, there's a thing that's called sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism is the different sizes between males and females. In humans, sexual dimorphism can be up to 30%. That means men are up to 30% bigger, stronger, faster, more denser bones than women. With that increase in size, there is also an increase in brain mass. That means if men in the absolute extreme is 30% larger than his female counterpart, he has 30% more brain mass than his female counterpart. Which means what? He has 30% more computational power than she does. We see that it is not a male scheme to keep women out of technology. The drivers of technology to this day, where it is more equal than ever for men and women, is still driven by who? Men. Why? Because we're designed different. And one of my best posts on Abuamerican Facebook talks about this. And I actually give the graphs and the pictures and the brain scans that show that men and women are different. And in those brain scans, you'll see that in the male brain, we have the two lobes, so the brain is split here, in the two lobes or hemispheres, whatever you call it. And male thought patterns, when he's thinking and he's processing, go from front to back, linear. This is how the male process goes. Females have connections between both sides. So men, their processes of how their brain functions is more linear. And there's very little, almost no connection between the two hemispheres. Women have extensive connections between the hemispheres, and that's how their brains functions. Our brains literally function differently. And this is why, according to science, men are better at technical skills than women, because of the way that our brains keep the two separate halves and the two different ways, because different parts of the brain are responsible for different functions. And because we keep those functions separate, our brains and our thought processes are more compartmentalized, allowing us to think deeper and harder on more technical topics than women. The reason why women and young girls are better at communication than men is because they have more connection between the two hemispheres. And so this is why when you find, and this is true, if you have kids, you'll find out, I have 9 kids, girls learn communication faster than boys do. Boys learn with their hands and jungle gym crazy combat skills. As little boys, that wild crazy alpha that's running around, they're better just in physical sports than girls are at an early age. And girls are better at communication at an early age. So we are, yes, I'm going to say it, we are superior mentally. Now, let's go into something that's very controversial. We have the bell curve. Very controversial because everybody says the bell curve is very racist. You don't like no black people. Whatever. In the bell curve, you have super intelligent, super stupid. And in the middle, you have the average people. The bell curve goes something like this. It's like a bell. And what happens is you'll find that there's a greater number of stupid men and a greater number of genius men. And women populate the center area more predominantly than men do. So there are more average women out there than there are average men. There's a lot more stupid men out there than there are stupid women. And there's a lot more genius men than there are genius women. So we will populate the genius scale and the goofy scale at a higher rate than women will. So in that regard, it's also something. Now, when we come down to strength and physicality, we have denser bones, muscles, thicker skin. Our level, despite childbirth and what they say about it, we withstand pain better. We withstand cold better. And if you look at the science also shows, like they were saying that, thermostats in buildings and office buildings is a sexist plot to keep women out of like, business world and out of the corporate world. It's not. The simple fact of the matter is that men have a higher metabolic rate than women do. That means our body operates and functions at a higher temperature than I do. My wife's over here. She's right next to me, very comfortable. I've got this miner over here pumping out heat at between 40 and 52 degrees Celsius constantly. I'm sweating. You know, she's over here. She's in a sweater, chilling. You know why? Because she likes the heat. We know where you demons come from. Yeah. So they are.
Just have low metabolism.
Yes, women have a lower metabolic rate than men. That's why it's also easier for men to gain muscle mass and to lose weight than women, because they have a lower metabolic rate. And it's better for them because they bear children. They need to turn like body fat into milk to feed children and whatnot. And so it makes sense that their metabolic rate is lower than that of a man's. But that also makes them more sensitive to colder temperatures. Why would a man be a better hunter? Because he can go out in the winter and hunt an animal and not feel the cold like a woman would with less equipment. So in general, yes, we are. I say it all the time, and I'm going to say it again. Maybe you missed this. Men are better than women, but women are more important than men. It's a simple fact. Men are better than women because we have to be. But women are better are more important than men. When you look at the scope of a society and its reproduction and child rearing and these types of things, women are more important than men. So yeah, that's what makes us qualified to lead. And just look at the world. Just check the world out. Where in the world do you see these great matriarchal societies that are driven by women? Show me one. There's like 4 matriarchal societies in the world. 4. And they produce combined something like 15 pounds of trash. You know why that's important? Because a society that is technologically advanced and produces something produces a lot of trash. It's a sign of advancement, sadly. You know, how much trash you produce. They produce something like 4 pounds of trash or something, like 1 pound of trash each. Yeah. They have countries and towns that have no power, no running water. These are like 4 societies around the world. There's one like in Nepal. There's one in Africa, or 2 or 3 in Africa, or I think it's 2 in Africa and another one somewhere else. They don't even have running waters. That's a universal of female-driven societies. They don't have running water. You know who builds the houses they live in? They bring in men, and men come in and build the houses they live in. And then men have got, all right, you built the houses, get out. We run this thing. Girls run the show. Even though the guys just built the house. Woo, woo. Yeah. We're suited to run the world. Because you know what? If all the women were to like, and I'm taking this directly from the Kevin Samuels booklet. If women were to disappear off Earth today, men would live to the end of their natural lives. And the only thing we'd miss were the women. If men were all to disappear, women would die in months. Who's going to run the power plants? Who's going to pick up the trash and stop disease from spreading all over the place and unplug the toilets and all this stuff? You know, look at Bear Grylls Island. Bear Grylls Island, he did an accidental social experiment. I'm going to get to the questions, guys, but this guy had to put me on a rant. Look at Bear Grylls Island. He actually had to cancel the show because it just showed how much more superior men are to women. So they had the men island and the female island. This is documented. There are entire YouTube channels that just like harped on about this. You can Google this right now. On the female island, the women started arguing, fighting, and suntanning, getting eaten alive by sand fleas. Within a week, the men had like they fought. They got their little arguments out of the way, and then they had the entire functioning society. They were living under like, hammocks and trees with tarps and all this type of stuff, and they were chilling and building fires, making advanced tools and fishing villages, and they were doing all sorts of crazy stuff. A week later, the women were still fighting and sunbathing, living bare, in open air on an island, getting rained on, catching cold, to the point that they almost had to cancel the show because women had ate up all their supplies that they gave them to survive off of, and they were running out of food. And so they decided, we're going to split up the island. We're going to send some men over here, and we're going to send some women over here. And the guys who got sent to the female island started over from zero and were miserable because they had to start over from zero. And the women who went over to the men island were absolutely happy because what did they do? They chilled and sunbathed and enjoyed a lot of male attention. The guys, they didn't get to hit on the ladies on the female island because they just had to go around building stuff while the women were walking around being bitchy. Why are men suited to lead? Because that's what we do. That's how we were created. That's what we do. Until someone can show me these female-led societies, and Bear Grylls showed that that's not going to happen, that's the way it is.
When female can't lead their kids, let alone society.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Up in Hamburg, my homie. Was I up in Hamburg? No, that was like a few years ago. Passed through Hamburg. Nahed. I didn't say flirt. Okay, now Nahed Ahmed Kim said I said flirting. I was talking about frame battles. Frame battles is not flirting. I did not use the word flirt. I checked it out. I said frame battles. Go back and check it out. It's not flirting. Flirting is different. Frame battles are not flirting. Frame battles are fun, but it's not flirting. You can practice frame battles with women, so you're good with your girl, but really it's not something you want to practice with your woman. It's not flirting. So that's your misunderstanding. You've extrapolated something that wasn't there. Quran First Muslim says, if you just got a job getting your own place, how should you plan your marriages? Get a wife right away? Get two? How long to wait and save? We talked about this on the last episode. I mean, although it's permissible, you can marry like 4 wives at once. If you have no wives, you can marry 2 at a time. I don't advise it. I think it's problematic. Some people have apparently done it, but I think I just see too many problems. So, I mean, because like I said, if you marry like 2 virgins, they're both allowed 7 days each. You're supposed to be alone with them. You don't, there's no, I got to make up those 7 days for her. So if you're married and you married a virgin, she gets those 7 days and those are her 7 days. You ain't got to make up those 7 days with your old wife, with your previous wife. You don't have to make those days up. Like if I spent 3 days with one wife, I got to give the other wife 3 days. But when it's a new marriage, it's 7 days conclusive or consecutive. So if you marry 2 virgins, who gets the first 7 days? You want to talk about like a woman thinking something's unfair? She's going to be angry. She's going to think, oh, he likes her more because she must be prettier than me, or whatever else. And then the one that you're with is going to think, oh yeah, he picked me because I'm prettier than her. You want to talk about like starting off a marriage to a bad foot, because women think off of emotions first, and then after the emotions calm down, that's when they start to think, when everything's gone wrong. So I just don't think it's a good idea. That's my humble opinion. I mean, but if you just got a job, getting your own place, whatever else, man, get married. If you can afford to do it, man, why not? Go for it, bro. Yeah. Yo. All right, my connection's back. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Sometimes I get like these crazy internet jumps. I don't know what it is. Salam, brother. Any tips on how to deal with letting go of women? I leave the women that I don't see are of value to my future, but I still find some emotional connection left over after we separate. I can't make sense of this question, bro. What kind of relationship you have with these women? Well, actually, I don't want to know. You shouldn't have any sort of emotional connection with a woman you're not married to, inshallah. This is why it's important to just get married early on. You're spending too much time. How to deal with letting go of women? Don't get connected to them. It's obvious that you're building some sort of relationship with these women and you're not married to them, and you shouldn't be doing that. Despite contrary to popular belief and what people think Abuamerican is all about, I don't encourage that. Don't get attached to these women, man. You meet the woman, you find out if you're compatible, get married. Get married as soon as possible. There's no need to be hanging out with these women, going on 10, 15, 20, 30, 80, 90 dates. This is something that the Muslims have picked up from the non-Muslims. We don't do this whole getting to know each other phase prior to marriage. We do that after we get married. There's basic compatibility there. There's the religion is right on both sides. Get married, man. Don't be playing around with this stuff, because then stuff like this happens. Why? She doesn't need the Cinderella story. She doesn't need that. Don't play into her Cinderella complex. She want to find that haram Cinderella complex story. Let her find it somewhere else, bro. You trying to get married? How to deal with that? Don't let her control the frame. Hey, look, we met. I like you. You like me. Your religion's good. My religion's good. I think we should get married. Let me talk to your daddy. You should be actually talking to her daddy from the start. But I'm going with the progress and the idea that maybe you're in university or something. You're talking to these women because obviously there's no wali mixed in here. Cut that stuff off, bro. I need to talk to your daddy. For me, I think everything's cool. I'm ready to get married. You ready to get married? No, you're not ready to get married. Well, what am I going to talk to you for? Why are you talking to me if you're not ready to get married, sis? Don't make no sense. I want to get to know you. That's what we get married for. Control the frame. Don't end up in that situation. Don't put yourself in that situation. Just don't do it. Easy. Yo, Link, I ain't telling you because you the feds. Yo, Link, you be asking me questions. Fourth wife, this, that, the other. You be asking them Fed questions, Yo, Link. So I ain't telling you. Yo, Link, you want me to answer your questions, man? You got to come with a super chats. You got to come with a super chats. You want me to answer your questions because you be asking questions like a Fed. Should a woman be given time to adapt and settle in their new home after marriage, or should we get them cooking and cleaning immediately? Well, you gonna do the cooking and cleaning? Who's gonna do it? We talk about get settled. This is why you do vetting from the start. It should be like something normal for her. The idea and the concept of cooking and cleaning. Why would you marry her otherwise? I mean, obviously you're not marrying her just for cooking and cleaning. But if that's not something she's ready to do, why are you getting married? You're going to give her that life of a 5-year-old where she gets to stay home and just chill and do whatever she does, kick her feet up and walk around in pajamas all day. My niggas, I better come home to like some clean stuff or whatever else. Oh, glad you're home, baby. Dinner's waiting for you. Chicken's in the fridge. You crazy? Well, I get a 2-week, break-in period here. I'll start that later on. Okay, you just handle the cooking and cleaning, babe. What are you talking about, bro? She better be ready from day one. But you're supposed to be ready. She doesn't come in and give you a break-in phase. Well, you know what? I'll let you break in on paying the rent and electrical bills, bro. Bro, I'll pay the rent for the first 3 months. And then when you're ready, you can transition over and start taking on the rent. Do you get a break-in period as a brother? What are you talking about, man? You don't get no breaks. She don't get no breaks. This is your job. This is my job. I pay the rent and I pay the bills. There's no break-in phase. If she want a break-in phase, then she needs to get a break-in phase on paying the bills. How's that sound? What's the best age range for a wife as a Muslim man? I don't know. What? Do you understand that question? I don't understand the question. I don't understand the question. What's the best age range for a wife as a Muslim man?
Different age. 10 years, 15 years.
I mean, all my wives are like at least 10 years younger than me? At least 10 years younger than me. I don't know what you're asking. She hits the age of permissibility. Then I guess that's it. I don't know. Also, what was it like living in Brixton? Ew, who lived in Brixton? I hated Brixton. I like sparsely visited. I had some brothers down there I'd go and visit, but I hated Brixton. I'm not a fan of Brixton. I didn't go down there in them ends that much. I didn't like it. And it's like that freaking, you got to take that blue line. What line was that? That was the something line. I can't remember what it was. Man, it was like so long to get to Brixton. Dude, I couldn't imagine taking a bus down there. The underground took forever. Wow. There's a reason why they separated Brixton that far from everywhere else. It's just that ratty, okay? I love my brothers in the UK, but if you live in Brixton, I don't want to visit you. I hate that place. They quarantined that place before Rona was a thing. That's why it takes so long to get there. Brixton. Really, bro? Brixton? Yo, Link, do you have ex-wives? Why do you need to worry about this? How do you, this is the type of question I'm asking. I'm like, this is a stupid question. Yo, Link, this is a stupid question. You say you ask real question, that's a dumb one. How do you look after kids after living with ex-wives? Tips to do it successfully. Do you have an ex-wife and do you have kids with your ex-wife? Because it sounds like you're planning to have kids and then an ex-wife. When you ask this question, it sounds to me like you're ready to get someone pregnant, divorce her, and then be like, all right, well, let me figure this out here. What are you asking me here, bro? What?
Eggs more valuable than sperm. What?
Are eggs more valuable than sperm? Some feminists in real life told me that
eggs.
Well, first off, yeah, exactly. Who cares what a feminist says? But yes, to a degree, she is partially correct. And this is why I say men are more better than women, but women are more important than men. And I took the idea and the concept from Rollo Tomassi, and he gave a very good example. And he said, basically, you take two tribes, and they have 100 people in the tribe, 50 men, 50 women. One tribe, all the men go out hunting, and they get attacked by a raiding party. 10 men return. There's 50 women, but there's 10 men. Those 10 men can get the 50 women pregnant. And the tribe can still grow at a normal rate with those 10 men. Now the opposite happens. The other tribe. The men go hunting. 50 men go out. The women get raided. Some get killed. Some get kidnapped. There's 10 women left. Those 50 men come back. There's only 10 women. The tribe has basically been reduced to a reproductive rate of 10 children in a year. And the tribe will probably take a bigger blow to its entire, population when the men start fighting and killing each other over the 10 women. So yes, to a degree, when you look at it, a very reductionist type, position like that, women eggs / are more important than sperm. But that's not the feminist point. Feminists are stupid. Don't listen to them. Okay. What's the best age range for a woman to be when finding what? I guess what?
How old is she supposed to? How old is she? I mean,
the question doesn't make sense though. Are you a man or are you a woman?
man.
I understand this is an alias.
Muslim.
But it doesn't make sense. What is the best age range for a woman to be when finding a wife?
I guess maybe 19 to 22.
Who's looking? Is it the wife or the husband looking?
The man.
But it says, what's the best age range for a woman to be when finding a wife? Since when does a woman find a wife? Who are you? Are you a man or you a woman? I need to know so I can figure this out. I don't know what's going on here. Never is when, because a woman is not allowed to marry another woman in Islam. That's the best age range for a woman to find a wife. You're going to have to ask the question a little bit clearer. I answered this question. If you want a different answer, you're going to have to ask it a little bit clearer.
Don't be so hard on them.
I'm just playing. I'm having some fun. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. It's any financial planning tips? Make money and make more.
Spending it.
Yeah, make more money. No, I'm not. It's not my specialty field. I'm trying to think who I could refer you to that could help you with that. Make money, bro. Find a way. Find your skill. Build it. Make money with it.
How much do you budget for your wives? I want budget. Where's my budget?
Oh my gosh, Nahid. Yes, it is, Nahid. Okay, what do you want? Yes, it is. I literally have said this 100 times. So Nahid, what do you want now? I've said it like 1,000 times, Nahid. So what now? Yes, it is. Do you see the questions here, Nahid? People are like getting emotionally attached to women. I'm just dealing with the realities that people go through. So what do you want? What is it that you actually want, Nahid? See, people understand what's going on here and pay attention. Nahid Ahmed, what do you really want? Just be direct. Just be direct. Don't beat around the bush. Come with some goofy like BS like you're doing right now. Stop being a wanker and just be direct. Say, Abuamerican, I don't like you. I hate you. I want to try and throw you under a bus or whatever else. And just go for it. I had entire Muslim Twitter go for it. You, Nahid Ahmed, are not going to do a better job than like 900 people on Twitter. So just freaking shoot your shot, you freaking dork.
Calm down, man.
Okay, so any financial planning tips? How do you budget for your wives? How do you say? I don't budget. I don't plan. I just spend the money. If I think I don't have enough money or I'm not making enough money, I make more money. That's what I do. I don't plan. I don't budget like this, that, the other. What I do make sure I do is make more money, and I make more than I spend. Alhamdulillah. That's what I do. How do I raise my brother? He's 12, and what should I do to make him strong in faith and confident in combat and respect his elders? Be an example. Just be it's like I said earlier, like when the person asked about like raising righteous children, just be the example you want them to be. And, if you think that there's some sort of outside influence that's like, what do you say? That's a negative influence. Try and be better than that influence. Be stronger and a clearer and a better picture. Don't try and be what they think is cool. Be the best that you can be, and that's automatically going to be cool. When you're the top of the game and you're the top of your game, in everything that you do. Kids notice that stuff. They're looking for a hero. Don't let the hero be the TV or this one or that one or some outside source. You got to be that hero. So just be the best that you can be. And they're going to want to be that strong figure. And it's easy for them to emulate a strong figure in reality as opposed to one on TV. How to deal with differences in madhab beliefs, views in your wives and prospects. This is what vetting is for. You got to check them out. The first place you got to check them out is Aqidah and Manhaj. This is one of the first places you got to do. I didn't really, actually, to be honest, I probably failed you guys in that on the vetting guide. I should probably spent more time on that. I think I actually did talk about it, but it's more important than I gave it time for. Absolutely check out their Aqidah, check out their Manhaj. You can't be like, dealing with no Sufis, no Shia, no this, no that. This type of stuff has to be checked out in detail from the start. And then make sure that they don't have a hostility. I mean, I'm a Salafi and people have hostility towards Salafi. You got to make sure that these are women who don't have hostility towards Salafis. That's the minimum. They can't have a hostility. They can be neutral. They can be indifferent, but they can't be hostile to Salafis, because then when you're listening to like, Abu Khadija or something, they're like, oh, I hate that guy. I met several sisters. They just hate him with a passion. Why? The guy doesn't really do anything crazy. He doesn't do anything crazy except speak the truth and attack Ahlul Bidah. So, this is the type of stuff you got to look out for. Wife's going to walk by, so I'm going to turn the camera off here for a second. I mean, you probably won't see her, but I'm still going to, turn the camera off. So, let's keep going. My man here makes a good point. They're not dumb questions, but every relationship is different. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Yusuf. Woo. Okay, man, it's a tough one right here. Hi, Abu. My younger brother's in a haram relationship with his girlfriend. How should I deal with this? Man, you gotta advise him with the truth, you just gotta advise him with the fear of Allah and the truth. You gotta tell him, it's like, hey, bro, what you doing is haram here. Look, why don't you get married? I don't know how younger is younger. Is it marriageable younger? If it's not, encourage them to get married. Say, hey, look, man, I don't know what you're doing. This is not what we do. This is not the way of our people, the Muslims. Get married. So why are you messing around? What do you need a girlfriend for? If you got a girlfriend, why not get married? Approach them in a good way, and talk to them and just stay consistent and stay on it. And eventually, it's going to go bad anyway, because there's nothing that starts off haram that ends up halal and goes well. Nothing starts off haram, goes well for a person. So just keep on advising him. When it goes haram, don't rub it in his face, but say, hey, look, tell him this. Say, if you start off with something haram, it's not going to go well over time. It's not going to work for you well. And then when it goes bad, don't like, I told you so him, but, just basically is like, say, look, man, I told you things that start off haram always go bad. And when it goes bad for him, be there a reminder. And hopefully, hopefully he rectifies the affair before that. But you just got to advise him with the fear of Allah and what's the truth and what's not the truth. And if he doesn't know, you got to teach him, and you just got to stay consistent. You have to stay consistent in teaching him, what's right, what's correct, and hope give him dawah, basically, because yeah. And you got to get him married, inshallah. That's more ideal. Why did I leave the UK? I'm not sure how that's relevant or how that helps you in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not going to answer that question. Oh, one second. Okay, go ahead. Different question. What do you think about the new M4 BMW 2021? I saw some reviews. It should be really nice. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I think BMW makes some very good cars. They make awesome cars. Germans always make very good cars and very well engineered cars. So I would say you can't go wrong. Tips for a young adult trying to tune into their masculine fitra. I came across your channel and realized how pathetic society is teaching us. What steps should someone like me take? I'm 21. Man, you know what? Get around dudes. What happens is, and I'm not, it's not, I don't see it as a fault, but what happens in the current society and time is masculine attributes are not something that are like overly necessary right now. And so you have to put yourself in environments where masculinity is just the status quo. Get into a fight gym. You're just not going to find even if you find a skinny arm programmer inside there, he's going to have some degree of masculinity in him that he's willing to get into a ring and fight with somebody. That takes something special in a guy. Get into a fight club. I always advise guys get into a fight club. Go and learn a masculine skill. If you're an IT or programmer or whatever else, and a lot of guys learning stuff, go and learn a hand working skill. I tweeted about this today. Women, for some reason, just love a guy that can fix and build stuff. That's good for her. It's good for you. because it gives you a type of competence and confidence that's like different that a lot of guys don't have. I remember one time, and this was like a long time ago, I ran into a guy who was like he was almost 30. He couldn't change a car tire. So I mean, get around masculine guys, do masculine stuff. It'll come out naturally, I think. What age should your wife be if you're 33-year-old man? I'm finding a wife. Man, dude, 18 to 25. 18 to 25. That's what I would say. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's my internet. Sometimes it just freaks out. It spazzes out. What did Muslim Twitter do? Everything. They're a bunch of goofballs. It's like probably the worst representation of Muslims in the world. Muslim Twitter. Talk about a bunch of losers. What I actually want to see is if you're worth listening to and practicing your tips. I'm on the fence with you. Bro, you don't have to. Don't do it. Don't. I don't need it. I don't need you to follow my tips. I'm here trying to help people. There's people who will tell you I've helped them and I've helped their marriages. If you don't think it'll work, don't use it, bro. Just go ahead. It's not necessary. Don't follow my stuff. I'm not here begging for followers. I make a show, people show up. People don't listen to my stuff, they listen to it. I just don't care. I'm taking people through the processes and steps that I went through and that I saw other brothers go through and helping them shortcut getting around these problems of the 21st century. If we would all basically just follow the book and the sunnah, we probably wouldn't have these problems. No, we wouldn't have these problems. But, people are going to do what they want to do. So, I put that little twist on it with Armada Miles. But you don't have to follow anything I do, bro. I'm not out here trying to gather followers. You know what I do on Twitter when I see like weirdos follow me? I block them. I preemptively block people. I could probably be over 8,000 followers right now. You should see my block list. You know what I do? I block people because I don't care if they follow me or not. It's not what I'm here for. I'm not here for followers. I don't care if people follow me. Bro, don't follow me. Don't buy my stuff. Don't do it. I don't even advertise my stuff. Guys, you don't have to follow me. I always advise people anyway. Go check out our brothers at Spubs. Go check out our brothers at Troy. Go check out these people. Go check out those people. I advise people to go look at other sources than myself. Better sources. Okay, don't follow me, bro. It's not necessary. Don't follow me. Thoughts on the COVID vaccine? I like my fertility. Although I am 48, I do enjoy my fertility. I'm not getting any. I had the COVID. I had the Rona, and you know what I think? The Rona ain't that bad. I think that there is a 99.96% survival chance of coronavirus, which the science supports, and therefore that does not need a vaccine. That's what I think. I think people are just injecting stuff into their body and it's completely unnecessary. Just imagine if we did this in the physical world. Oh, that bridge over there, it has a 99.96% safety rate. You're going to have to swim across the river. What? No, I don't think you need a COVID vaccine if you're a regular healthy person. If you're like, you're not taking care of your health, or you have some sort of like sickness or whatever else, you probably consult a doctor, not Abuamerican, and see if you actually should take it because you have a condition that makes your immune system weaker, and maybe you need that protection if it actually protects you. Allahu Alam, But as for me, I think the average person, as a layman, I think the average person probably doesn't need it because I had the Rona. My 10-day-old daughter had the Rona and she came through it. Like, you should see her now. She's like just rock solid monster beast mode. You've talked about the main wife on Twitter. How do you explain this dynamic to other wives? Surely they will become jealous and try to dethrone the main wife. No, I had Shay here.
You can have 2 main wives, 3 main wives. Why?
Yeah, it's not like really. It's not really like it's not that serious. The thing is like this. You have to understand the difference between men and women. I made a video about this also, and it just came out recently. Women view relationships from a solipsistic perspective, meaning they look at it from their perspective only. And men, we have a different perspective on relationships. You have to get her somehow to understand your perspective of a relationship. Women look for another man when there's something wrong with her man. This is why the red pill world talks about monkey branching. There's something wrong with her man in her perception, whether or not that's a valid problem or not is a different conversation. But in her eyes and in her mind, there's something wrong with her man. He's too weak. He's too this. He's too nice, or he's abusive or whatever else. And so she starts looking for another guy. That's the only time she really wants to try and find another guy, unless she is broken. A guy, he's just interested. He's like, oh, wow, whoa, wow. And he's like really excited and happy, about the idea of multiple women. That doesn't mean to that guy there's something wrong with his woman. He will love his woman 100%, but he'll sleep with anything he can get his hands on. Now, obviously in Islam, we have rules and regulations that prevent you from like running around and doing this type of stuff, just hit it and quit it, which is not our, culture, our religion. It's not supported. But it has to be understood by the women in your life that you having another wife doesn't detract from the love that you have for her as a wife. And it doesn't if you're a healthy man. So, yeah. Homeschooling. I prefer homeschooling. Have you seen what they're teaching in schools to kids nowadays? Homeschooling. Some of these questions I don't really understand. So I'm just going to skip past them. He said, I can feel your heat through my phone. Yeah. Ooh, comments here. Oh, here goes Nahid again. This person.
What happened?
Oh gosh, man. This is why I ban people. You've mentioned that you've divorced 10 to 12 women. Were any of them divorced unjustly against the Sharia? No.
What is divorce unjustly?
What's an unjust divorce?
Yeah.
A guy can Islamically, there is no unjust divorce. There is no such thing. You could just divorce a woman. A guy just doesn't like the smell of her breath, and he says, I just don't like it. She can brush her teeth, and use mouthwash. I think it smells like, dried cat piss. And he can divorce her. A guy can just wake up and say, baby, I love you, but I just can't do this. And he can divorce her. There is no such thing as an unjust divorce in Islam. Explain to me an unjust divorce. What is an unjust divorce? What is that? Islamically, that doesn't exist. If a guy is tired of his wife, he doesn't want to be with her, he can divorce her. And there's no shame upon him Islamically in that. That's your goofy culture. And I made a video about goofy cultures. This is a goofy culture. Guys, this is what I talk about, goofy culture stuff right here. Unjust divorce? Islamically, explain to me an unjust divorce. What is that? You can divorce a woman and it's easy.
I think it's only for the wife part. She can ask based on Sharia.
She can ask for a khula.
Yeah, but that's not for the man, not for the husband.
The man can just divorce it well. There's no such thing as an unjust divorce. What is that? What is that? You guys just be making up terms for your goofy culture. That's your goofy culture talking. There's no such thing as an unjust divorce. You can't unjustly divorce a woman. There's incorrect divorces in a Sharia sense, where like the man pronounces divorce 3 times in one divorce. This is Sharia, from a Sharia sense, incorrect. And it shouldn't be done like this, although it is valid. But it is, in a sense, a bid'ah. But unjust? Dude, what are you talking about? Do all races of family have the same natures, or do different evolutionary pressures from dissimilar environments lead to variation in attraction triggers personality? Allahu Ta'ala. I'd suppose yes. I don't know if I'd say it's an evolutionary thing, but it's definitely like a cultural and a societal thing. I'm a black male. I like women with big butts. I like that. I know white guys, they like women with big chests. I'm just like, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't like it. Other guys like flat stick butt women, whatever else. We're talking about preferences here. And these are socially and culturally something that people adopt and learn. So I don't think it has anything to do with evolution. I think it has to do with the society the person lives in, what's considered to be attractive in that society. In some societies in the world, like in Africa, you got bald-headed women. I'm just like, man, what the heck you see in that? Bald-headed women. Other parts of the world, long flowing hair is what's attractive. And if you switch these people between these 2 places, they're not going to like the women in each place. The guy's going to like, why all these women got hair? And the other guy's going to be like, why all these women don't have hair? Now, don't tell her about the crypto gains. Get her involved in them, man. Make her excited too. Get her involved. Don't just tell your wife about the crypto gains. Get her in on it. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My experience at Fight Zone London was awesome. Them dudes are freaking cool as heck. If you guys don't know, Fight Zone is a jiu-jitsu club in East London. It's in Bethnal Green. And it is what school was it? Oh, I forget now. I think it's Team Checkmat, isn't it? It's Team Checkmat. Man, them dudes are so cool. It's run by a guy named James. And James is cool. He's a non-Muslim guy. He's got a lot of Brazilians in there, whatnot. But man, awesome team. They really are sort of like a family. As big as London is, if you walk in them doors, they really treat you well. They treat you like a family. Them people, my experience at London Fight Zone was really good. And they got some good, technical skills. They have a competition team that performs well in competitions. I train there any day of the week. I tell anybody go train at London Fight Zone any day of the week. Bethnal Green, London Fight Zone. It's a wonderful place. And they got like more than just jiu-jitsu there. They got like Muay Thai, they got boxing, they got cardio for like people trying to lose weight. They got the full workout, man. You can find it all there. Does she accept crypto? I think that's more the question. Like, does she, you got to ask the sister. I can't answer that, bro. Can you pay your dowry in crypto? I don't know. That needs a fatwa, bro. I can't give you a fatwa. I think you should find out if the sister accepts crypto first. Oh, Barakallahu Feek. You may not need me, but I may need you. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know, bro. If you have a specific question, to a specific situation, then inshallah, I'll look at my answer, and then decide, like, bro, you give me some goofy, like, stuff that don't work, that's like, the antithesis to the Sharia. But inshallah, I try and avoid that as best as possible. But at the same time, I'm not going to avoid the realities that the people are going through right now. Like the brother asked question in becoming emotionally attached to sisters. We know then from a simple fact that somewhere, be it through the internet or these apps, that the individual is meeting sisters. He might be in, a university or whatever, and he's building relationships with them. Should he be doing that? No, absolutely haram. But it's the reality he's dealing with, and I'm not going to avoid it and just be like, oh, brother. I could do that. Obviously, I'm going to say it's haram, but then how does that help him with his situation right now? So I deal with realities. So, and some people don't like that. But then the reality is they all know somebody who's mixed up in some goofy stuff, but then they'll get on Twitter and be like, Abuamerican said this and Abuamerican's doing that. And then like, they sister or they cousin like smashing haram and they know it. And they mad at me for like dealing with that situation and telling, them to tell their sister or whatever else, or directly telling their brother, go get married instead of actually like, looking at the situation. So that's what I do. I can't help anything else. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Would you recommend posting pictures of one's physique on their profile on Muslim matrimonial apps, or would it attract the wrong type of girl? I'm a practicing brother. What are we talking about posting physique here? I mean, we're talking like, you got to remember your aura, your private parts as a Muslim man, which is from the navel to the kneecaps. In general, I think it would set like a really bad precedence, in my humble opinion. I personally wouldn't do it. I used to put some physique photos up on like Instagram and whatnot, just when I was talking about fitness and whatever, because I am big into fitness, but I'm not like some sort of fitness specialist, but I do talk to quite a few. And so I used to post my gains. But I mean, on terms of like a matrimonial app or something like this, or looking for a wife, I probably wouldn't do it personally. It's my humble estimation. But if you are going to do it, which I don't advise, then make sure your aura is covered, which is obviously from the navel to the kneecap as a Muslim man. If that's a route you're going to take, then just make sure you're covered properly. But I wouldn't advise it personally. Favorite verse and favorite hadith. Favorite verse would probably be Ayatul Kursi, simply because of the power that it's been given to us by way of a dua and protection and whatnot. Favorite hadith. Man, there's so many I like. Innamal a'malu binyat. No, that's my favorite hadith. Why do you think a lot of men are ashamed of openly practicing polygyny? A lot of my Somali uncles regularly go to Mogadishu for business meetings, but are just seeing their secret wives, their secret second wives. Look, what I'm about to say is going to be controversial, and it's not meant as an attack, but it's the honest truth. Most men are actually just afraid of their wives. It's not a matter of shame. It's a matter of fear. It's a fear of family and their wives, and what they will say to them, because what is considered to be normal nowadays is to take on the non-Muslim position that, having multiple wives is something like terrible and horrible, and you're an oppressive, evil guy. You're the patriarchy, and you're like everything that's wrong with men because you have multiple wives. And so it's more of an action of fear as opposed to shame. When a person is afraid of something, he hides it. When a person is ashamed of something, he hides it. They both stem from what? Fear of being judged. And so, or the fear of the consequences of that action. And so most of the time, guys understand how their wives are going to react, how their families are going to react, how the people in their circles are going to react, the men in their circles are going to react, because they fear what's going to happen if their wives find out that, Ahmed, your best friend, is married to another woman. You're going to get ideas and he's going to have to deal with it. And so what happens is he finds himself surrounded by people who are hostile towards him and this lifestyle, which is completely permissible. And then he starts to hide it. And eventually, if he gets caught, and it usually happens, it's even worse because he tried to hide it instead of just bucked up and knuckled down. It was just like, hey, look, man, it's something permissible. It's not something haram. You need to stay out of my face. If you got a problem with what I'm doing and it's permissible, then your problem is with Allah and His Messenger and them allowing me to do this. You don't have a problem with me. And that's really the truth. That's really the truth. So, yeah. No. Sorry, I said no before I answered. Is training your wife in your vetting guide? No, actually, this is in the drafts right here. I got it open on Google Documents. Training your wife, as horrible as that sounds, is actually in the next guide that I'm trying to complete. You should make a snippet of that, men versus women on polygyny. Yeah, probably. I made a video about it, but it's not a conversation that you're generally going to have, because this is a conversation we're having based upon logic and reason and proof and evidences and, empiricism and all this. Generally, you're not going to get through to women because women operate and communicate on a more emotional level. So, you're going to come with logic and reason, and all you're going to do is make her mad, and she's going to communicate to you with her emotions, and she's just going to frustrate you. So usually communication goes something like this on that topic. Nobody comes to a common ground. What do you think are the most important questions to ask meeting a potential spouse? You know what? One of the things I like to ask, Ain Allah. Where is Allah? This is one of the first questions I usually ask a woman.
Yeah. Yeah, you asked me that.
I asked her that. Where is Allah? It's one of the first questions I ask her. It's going to tell you a lot about her aqidah and her manhaj. It's going to tell you a whole lot. It's one of the most important questions I like to ask. America, I have 2,000 pounds saved up for a divorce just in case I get smashed.
Yeah, that's why I left.
You're another one of them dudes saving up for a divorce. I don't get that mentality. Mashallah. Okay. I guess it's the times we're in. So yeah, mashallah. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Saving for a divorce is a wild concept to me. Mashallah. Ray Flex says, we've made haram halal and easy. We made the haram halal and easy in what we've made, and we've made the halal haram and hard. Yes, this is true. I wish someone would write an uncensored book on marriage lives of the Sahaba and Tabi'in. People's head would spin. I wish I had more information on the married lives of the Sahaba. But what we do find nowadays is that people are making the halal very difficult, and they're making the haram. And just by default, that when you make the halal difficult, you automatically make the haram easier. And people tend to think that that's not the case, but that's actually what you're doing. When you make it difficult for people to get married, when you make the entry level for marriage in Islam very high, what you do is you make the entry level for zina very low. You make it very easy to enter, because now the person's like, well, this is impossible, and I'm never going to enjoy like the experience or companionship of another person. And then they start down that goofy human process of thinking and rationalizing their behaviors, and then they fall into something. So automatically, when you close the door to halal, or you make that door difficult to go through, you open automatically the door to haram flies open. And it's not supposed to be like that, because marriage in Islam is easy. That's not something that's difficult. It's not something that's hard. These massive, crazy dowries that these sisters be asking for, this is not something from the Sunnah. It's in opposition to the Sunnah. Even the idea that sisters are asking for dowries, this is what I want, this is what you're supposed to make an offer as a man. She's not supposed to like set some price. Where did that come from? Show me the hadith where that's supposed to. We've been through this. I've been through this on a show. It's not her job to set a price. That's not her job. You set the price and she accepts or rejects. But again, what happened is the roles got reversed and flipped because people started with that goofiness. Well, I want this and I want that and I want a bunch, concepts and ideas that are antithetic to Islam. And sisters started asking for these huge amounts and dowries and whatnot. And instead of, and because people didn't understand, they just started rejecting these dudes. And then dudes started, well, what do you want? Because it's easier, because it's a logical process. But this religion isn't about logic. And Ali, radiallahu anhu, he said this. He says, if this religion was based on logic, then we would wipe over the top of the socks when we make wudu, and we would wipe over the bottom of the socks and not the top. If this religion is about logic and reason. But logic and reason leads us down these crazy paths until it becomes a normality that's really just a bid'ah. And so people are like, well, what do you want for a dowry? No, make an offer. There's nowhere in the Sunnah do you see that a woman comes along talking about, I want like 1,200,000 pieces of gold or whatever else. And they've made it difficult for people to get married. Yeah, 1 second. I want to live like the Tate brothers, but a halal way. Do you think this is possible? You have to define in what way. Multiple women? Yes, there's a halal way. The way they make their money? No, not possible. Did you have to legally register your marriage to be? See, these Fed questions, bro. Sharia defense and enforcement, man. I thought you was homie. You asking me these Fed questions. Woo! Nah, man, you came with some wild one right there. Is it better to go down on your wife? I think you should be actually just looking at the permissibility or not. You have to look at like the stance of the ulama on this position. Some ulama, they hold that it is makruh. Others hold that it's haram. So this is where you need to start first. Get that question answered. Get back to me. Show me the sources, and I'll look at it. And then when we decide on whether or not this is the permissibility or not, or it's makruh or not, then we can answer that question. Striking. What fighting style do you recommend to learn first? Boxing or Muay Thai? Striking. Then after that, grappling. Is it feminine for a man not to drive? You have to give more context. I mean, in what context? At all? I don't know if that's feminine. I don't think there's a feminine or not feminine to it. You should know how to drive. I don't think there's a masculine or feminine to this. It's just cars are such a part of human life nowadays. It's such a fixture in human culture and society that you should probably just know how to drive. I don't know if that's a masculine or feminine question, or a matter of masculinity or femininity. This is a question of competency. I suppose it can turn into a matter of masculine or feminine when, like the zombie apocalypse starts and you can't drive the car and you're screaming in the front seat, how do you start this thing, baby? And your girl's got to, save the day. That might be feminine. But in general, I think you're overthinking it. Are locks or dreadlocks that are kept neat, clean, permissible? I get different opinions on this. The brother who introduced me to Islam was very much Salafi, but the more I learn, I'm not so sure. Allahu Ta'ala. As far as I understand, I think the last ruling I read is that they were impermissible. But I don't know. It's been so long since I read that, I don't know anymore. But I'm pretty clear that the last opinion I read, it was impermissible. I can't tell you, bro. I can't give you a fatwa either. But I read somewhere, I can't remember where, that it was impermissible. But it's so long, bro. It's foggy information now. So it's probably best not even to take that from me. Anime addict. You're like really on a rant here. I have no idea what this dude's. I'm going to help Anime out here. Boop. He said, anime addict, stop using caps. I just blocked him from the channel. Cooking to ordering out ratio. We don't actually order out here much. I mean, my wife is a stay-at-home wife. She cooks. a lot. If we eat out normally, if we travel, I like to travel. I travel a lot, and so when we go out, when we travel, then generally we eat out. But generally, we don't really eat out a whole lot. It's not because of money. It's just like most food out there is not very healthy. It's not very good. It's not very well prepared. You don't know the people behind the counter who's preparing it. You don't know what it's been prepared on. This is Germany, bro. People will prepare like pork and meat on the same counter. You go to, and halal restaurants don't mean anything out here. Dudes out here doing goofy, crazy stuff. You go to like a Turkish restaurant, it'll be halal, and the dude's selling beer. It's like, so we don't really eat out that much. Do you? I could tell Ling Ling, but generally the other wives, no, I don't tell them because they can't deal with it well. Ling Ling understands that no matter what, how I feel about her with a new wife doesn't change. So I could tell her about other wives, but newer wives, they don't really get that. So, and I advise guys not to. I advise guys to tell their wives if they're going to get married again, to tell their wives the day of the marriage or the day before, ideally after, but. Usually the day of the marriage, I'd say, or the day before, say, hey, look, I'm tomorrow I'm going to get married, or I'm going to get married today, because what happens is if you tell your wife about getting married or the idea of getting married before you get married, you're going to deal with all the problems and all the stress of having two wives without the benefits. My wife's good.
I think it's a matter how strong is his frame and how close is between the relationship between them. Some people have strong bonds, some people just can't appreciate truth. So
yeah. Thoughts on Muhammad hijab? I'm a Salafi. I think that should say it all. Did I compete in boxing? No, but I am I am usually the sparring partner for the state champions out here in my state. What is your experience like with meetings between yourself and the sister/family of the sister? How do you approach such situations? Do you ask for feedback after? No. Actually, I haven't been rejected by a family that I've met. No, I haven't been rejected by a family I met. Believe it or not, I'm quite a charismatic guy. Once I meet somebody, it's sort of like a job interview. If I get to the job interview, the job is mine. If I get in the door with a family, and they let me in the door, that's it. The girl's mine. So I don't know. No, I've never asked for feedback. And if they reject me, I wouldn't ask for feedback. I wouldn't care. It's like, okay, they said no. Just keep pushing. If polygyny is illegal in the West, and you need to be legally married to bring your spouse from abroad, how do you bring multiple wives? That's what I meant. There's multiple ways to do it, but it's probably best not to talk about it here. Oops, well, skipped something here. Woman that stopped talking to me said it's just lust between me and her. She's probably right. Thoughts on Dawah Man? I'm a Salafi. You should say it all. What aspect of Salafiyah made you become Salafi? Bro, I mean, it's, Salafiyah is probably the most evidence-based, free from emotion-based part of the Muslim world in terms of knowledge than any other part of Islam. There's no esoteric, Sufi, goofy stuff, made up hadith. You're asked for proof and evidences. You have to have your stuff in order. Well, you got some proof for that? You got some evidence for that? Everything is based upon dalil in Salafiyah. Yeah, so you have to have Salafiyah sticks to the foundation of Islam. Aqidah, manhaj. And then dalil. You can't just make stuff up. You can't say stuff, goofy Sufi stuff and all that other stuff, It's great, man. It's beautiful. I don't know why a person wouldn't be a Salafi. It's like, mashallah, it's the religion. It's perfect because Salafiyah focuses on what? Following Islam and the Sunnah according to the understanding of what? The Salaf. So, yeah. Man, automatic, man. If you don't get out of here with that automatic stuff, who drives an automatic? If you're a guy and you drive an automatic, man, just... Ugh. Automatics are probably worse than Brixton. I didn't catch a question on Gabriel Romani. Sorry, I didn't catch it, so I don't know. No, absolutely there are. But in the West, one of the best sources for English authentic information is Salafi publications. And I'm not going to lie, you know, I know those brothers. I've known those brothers since I became Muslim, basically. I have a very good relationship with them. I've seen them under attack for years. I've seen, you know, that they've always stuck to the truth. And I've seen that people have distorted and made lies up against them, you know, and I've watched this for years, you know, and I've seen them make retractions when they're incorrect. And, you know, most of the time they're upon the hawk. They're humans just like anybody else. But one thing that they have dedicated to is the truth. So, yeah. Of course, obviously, people are not going to agree. You know, you got people who just hate Salafiyah and they hate Maktaba Salafiyah. That's what they're going to do. But for me, I have love for them based upon what I've seen of them. We're an hour and 10 minutes, man. Woo. Yeah, this is true. In the West, it's definitely spubs. Others will just label you Medkhali preaching Salafiyah. Yeah, people just call me Medkhali and all that other stuff, and I don't really care. Guys, an hour and 10 minutes. So basically, I cannot agree with you here, James. I'm sorry, Henry James. Automatics are the best. Dude, power shifting through turns is not something you can do in an automatic. You know, just downshifting in a really hard, sharp turn, you're not going to be able to pull that off in an automatic. You're going to lose power at the peak of the turn when you're turning the hardest if you can't downshift.
Speed up with automatic.
You can't get that proper. Well, you can get proper speed up with automatics, but
you have to like.
Yeah, but when you're like popping them turns or whatever, unless we're talking about the automatics with the paddles, that's different, you know. So yeah, that's different. But I have to disagree, man. Guys, an hour and 10 minutes. Thanks for tuning in. I'm getting back to family life here. So the next show. Oh, I think I got a show tomorrow with a non-Muslim guy who lives with like multiple women. And I'll let you guys know. I think it's gonna be like 7 p.m. I gotta book that. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. Off Twitter. Nathan from Twitter. Yeah, me and him got a show tomorrow. He got his webcam set up and everything, so we're gonna do a show with him. And what else is there? Blockchain Bros. Blockchain Bros is on Sunday. Oh. Yeah. But anyway, if you want the relationship stuff, tune in for that on Fridays. Hopefully it'll be earlier next week. But actually, we had like higher view account today than we did like last week. So maybe we'll push it back a little bit later. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, it's your man Abuamerican. I'm out.